Hi students, this is Bhagavan Reddy, Faculty of Chemistry, Trinity College. So, in 16th group elements, in the last class, we discussed about ozone, its preparation, properties, structure and uses. Right or not? In today's class, we are going to discuss about oxides. What sir? Oxides. Sir, what are oxides? Oxides are nothing but these are the binary compounds of elements with oxygen. Binary compounds of element with oxygen is called as what sir? Binary compounds of elements with oxygen are called as oxides. For example, a compound of magnesium with oxygen, magnesium oxide, right or not? And a compound of sulfur with oxygen, that is sulfur dioxide. Like this, these are what sir? Oxides. So binary compounds of elements with oxygen are called as oxides. So these oxides are important, and these oxides can be classified into mainly two types. So types of oxides. So oxides can be classified into two types. What are those two types means? Here two types of oxides are there. They are number one, simple oxides. Simple oxides. Number two, mixed oxides. Simple oxides and mixed oxides. These are the two types of oxides. So what are simple oxides? Simple oxides are nothing but here the oxide of an element which cannot be furtherly divided into other oxides of same element, or the oxide of an element which contains only one oxide is called as what sir? Simple oxide. So simple oxide is nothing but example magnesium oxide, simple oxide, silicon dioxide, simple oxide, PbO, simple oxide, like this we can say. So these simple oxide means they contain only one type of oxides. So these simple oxides again these are divided into again four types based on their nature. So based on the nature, these simple oxides are divided into how many types? And again, four types. What are those four types means? That is the first type of simple oxide is acidic oxide. Acidic oxides. So what are acidic oxides? Acidic oxide is nothing but the oxide which on hydrolysis produce acid solution. So the oxide which on hydrolysis gives acid solution. That is called as what sir? Acidic oxides. Generally oxides of non-metals are what sir? Oxides of non-metals are acidic oxides. So generally acidic oxides are what are there? Oxides of non-metals. And next example for these acidic oxides if we take, that is here carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, chlorine heptoxide, etc. These are what are acidic oxides. Here if we take, for suppose when sulfur trioxide is also acidic oxide, when it is dissolved in water on hydrolysis it produces sulfuric acid. Another acidic oxide is chlorine heptoxide, when it is dissolved in water will get perchloric acid. Like this we can say these are what sir? These are the oxides which on hydrolysis produce acid solution. Those are called as what nana? Acidic oxides. Is it clear? So the next. After that, second type of oxides are basic oxides. Basic oxides. So before going to discuss about basic oxides, here what is the concept? That is oxides of non-metals acting as what? Oxides of non-metals are acidic oxides. Right or not? Here, if we take some oxides of metals also act as acidic oxides. What are those means? Some oxides of metal, some oxides of metals, some metals in a higher oxidation state, some oxides of some metals in higher oxidation state act as acidic oxides. Example if you take, that is CrO3, very important. Generally this is a metal oxide. Metal oxide means we'll feel that what sir, we'll assume that it is a basic oxide, but it is acidic oxide. CrO3 is acidic oxide and Mn2O7 acidic oxide. How we can say these two are acidic oxides means, here CrO3 on hydrolysis produce what sir? HCrO4, chromic acid. What is this one? Chromic acid. So as this oxide on hydrolysis giving acid, hence it is what sir? It is acidic oxide. Clear? Similarly, Mn2O7, manganese heptoxide, when it is subjected to hydrolysis, then we'll get HMnO4, permanganic acid. This is permanganic acid. Acid producing acid on hydrolysis, hence it is what kind of oxides are? Acidic oxide. Clear? So like this, these some metal oxides in which metal is with higher oxidation state, like chromium oxide and manganese heptoxide act as what sir? Acidic oxide. Generally metal oxides are basic oxides. Generally what we know, only non-metal oxides are acidic oxides, but here some metal oxides also being acidic oxides. Very important topic this is. Clear? So then next basic oxides. The second type of oxides are what sir? Basic oxides. So what are basic oxides? So basic oxides are, these are oxide which on hydrolysis, the oxide which on hydrolysis gives basic solution, alkali solution. That's called as what sir? Basic oxide. Example here, all metal oxides are generally metal oxides are basic oxides. Most of the metal oxides are what sir? Most of the metal oxides are basic oxides. All metal oxide need not to be basic. Why? Because just now only we discussed CrO3 and Mn2O7. These two are acidic oxides. Though they are metal oxides, but they are acidic oxides. But here, so we can say most of the metal oxides are basic oxides. Here example for this one is sodium oxide, magnesium oxide, right or not? Calcium oxide. Next, ferrous oxide. Like this, these are what sir? Basic oxides. Clear? So here when Na2O dissolved in water, what will get sir? NaOH. Similarly K2O when dissolved in water, what will get sir? KOH. So like this we can say this is about basic oxides and bases. And third kind of oxides are amphoteric oxides. So what are amphoteric oxides? Which can react with both acids and bases. Can react with both acids and bases. Those are called as what? Amphoteric oxides. Generally oxides of metalloids. Oxides of metalloids act as what sir? Amphoteric oxides. Or oxides of metalloids and some metals act as amphoteric oxides. What are the examples of amphoteric oxides? Al2O3, amphoteric oxide, aluminum oxide, beryllium oxide, amphoteric oxide, right or not? And next germanium oxide, amphoteric oxide. Like this we can say tin dioxide, amphoteric oxide, SN, that is next ZNO, amphoteric oxide, like this we can say. All these are what, sir? Amphoteric oxides. So oxides of metalloids as well as oxides of some metal act as what, sir? Amphoteric oxides. As2O3, amphoteric oxide, like this. Clear? So these are amphoteric oxides. V2O5, amphoteric oxide, vanadium pentoxide. So these are amphoteric oxides, so which can react with both acids and bases, which have both acidic character and basic character. Clear? So this is regarding third type, and then next to fourth type of oxides. Then fourth type of oxides, simple oxide is neutral oxide. So what are neutral oxides? Oxide which neither reacts with what, sir? Neither reacts with acids nor with bases. So the oxides which neither reacts with acids nor bases are called as what, sir? Neutral oxides. Means they won't react with acids or bases. They are neither acidic in nature nor basic in nature. So those are called as what, sir? Neutral oxides. So here examples of neutral oxides are what, sir? Nitric oxide, neutral oxide. Nitrous oxide, neutral oxide. Carbon monoxide, neutral oxide. Like this, these are what, sir? Neutral oxides which neither react with acids nor bases. Clear? So this is about fourth type of simple oxide. So all these are simple oxides. Next, second type of oxides are what, sir? Mixed oxides. So what is mixed oxide? Mixed oxide is nothing but the oxide which contains two or more different oxides of same metal in different oxidation states. So the oxide which contains two or more different oxides of same metal with different oxidation states is called as what? Mixed oxide. So the oxide which contains two or more different oxide, two or more oxides, simple oxides of same metal in different oxidation states. The oxide which contains two or more simple oxides of same metal, two or more different simple oxides of same metal, different simple oxides of same metal in different oxidation states. That is called as what, Nana? That is mixed oxide. Example for mixed oxide if we take here, example if we take, that is the first one, Fe3O4. It is a mixed oxide. So Fe3O4 is a mixed oxide, It is a mixed oxide of what, sir? It contains Fe3O4 contains FeO plus Fe2O3. So the magnetite, Fe3O4 is nothing but magnetic oxide of iron. Magnetite, it is a mixture of what, sir? FeO and Fe2O3. This is a Fe3O4 which is a mixed oxide. Clear? And another mixed oxide is, that is Mn3O4. Mn3O4 is a mixture of what, sir? It is MnO plus MnO2. MnO plus MnO2. 2 MnO plus MnO2. That is a mixed oxide Mn3O4. So Mn3O4 is a mixed oxide of MnO and MnO2. Similarly, red lead Pb3O4. This is known as red lead. So red lead is a mixture of what, sir? It is a mixture of PbO plus PbO2. Again 2 PbO plus PbO2. So in this way here, these are what, sir? Mixed oxides which containing two or more different simple oxides of same metal in different oxidation state. Pb3O4 is a mixture of PbO and PbO2, two simple oxides of Pb, in which metal is with different oxidation state. Here +2, here +4. Right or not? And when mixed oxides, just on heating, on warming, it produces two oxides, component oxides, or whenever it is treated with the reagent, it will produce the products corresponding to those two simple oxides present in it. I think, so once again I am repeating, when a mixed oxide is treated with a suitable reagent, then it can produce or it gives the products corresponding to the, what sir? The simple oxides present in it, component simple oxides of it. For example, when Pb3O4 is treated with HNO3, nitric acid, then what would be the products? Actually PbO4 containing what sir? PbO4 containing PbO. PbO on treating with HNO3 gives what sir? PbNO3 taken twice plus H2O. And PbO2, another component of this one, on treating with HNO3 gives what sir? That is PbNO3 taken 4 plus H2O. So same as to this here, means here when Pb3O4 red lead is treated with nitric acid, then we'll get what sir? PbNO3 taken twice plus PbNO3 taken 4 plus H2O is obtained. So like this we are getting what sir? Products corresponding to both the component oxides. Clear? So like this, if we take Fe3O4, when Fe3O4 is treated with HCl, we get mixture of what sir? Let us see, Fe3O4. Fe3O4 when it is treated with HCl, hydrochloric acid, then what could be the products? Can you expect? So Fe3O4 contains what sir? FeO and Fe2O3. FeO on reaction with HCl gives what sir? Ferrous chloride, FeCl2. Fe2O3 on treating with HCl gives what sir? Ferric chloride, FeCl3. Like that here also when Fe3O4 is treated with HCl, we will get mixture of ferrous chloride and ferric chloride plus H2O. Clear? So why it producing ferrous chloride and ferric chloride? Because it containing one oxide of iron in +2 oxidation state, another oxide of iron in +3 oxidation state, right or not? So this is the concept of mixed oxides. Clear? So these are the two types of oxides. So oxides can be classified into two types, so simple oxides and mixed oxides. Are you following or not? Generally we know that metal oxides are always basic in nature or amphoteric in nature, but today we learned what sir? Some metal oxides can also act as acidic oxides, example CrO3 and Mn2O7. So these two oxides of metal, these two metal oxides are behaving as what sir? They are acidic in nature, acidic oxides. Generally metal oxides never act as acidic oxides as per our previous knowledge. They act as either basic oxides or amphoteric oxides. But here some metal oxides, higher metal oxides in which metal is with higher oxidation state acting as what sir? Acidic oxide. Is it clear? So this is about concept of oxides. Next another type of acids. So type of oxides. Type of oxides. Second type of oxides. Another type of oxides is, this is based on the number of oxygen atoms. Based on the number of oxygen atoms. If you take type of oxides based on oxygen atoms present in it. Here based on the oxygen atom, this can be divided into three types. How many types? Three types. What are those three types means? First one, normal oxides. Normal oxides. Second type are polyoxides. Third kind of oxides are suboxides. So these are three types of oxides: normal oxides, polyoxides, suboxides. If you take normal oxide, so first one, normal oxide are nothing but these are oxide which contain oxygen atoms as per normal valency, as per normal oxidation state, that is -2. So the oxides which contain oxygen atoms, sufficient number of oxygen atoms as per the normal valency, that is -2, normal oxidation state. So these normal oxides are again divided into simple oxides and mixed oxides. Example for normal oxides, if we take Na2O, sodium monoxide, magnesium oxide, carbon dioxide, etc. All these are what, sir? Normal oxides. So which contain oxygen atoms as per normal oxidation state or normal valency. And the second type of oxides are what, sir? Polyoxides. Polyoxides, I will give one example, that is here Na2O2. It is a polyoxide. Actually, what is the expected formula for sodium oxide? Na2O. But here we are getting Na2O2. And if you go with another one, BaO2 or KO2, like this. So all these will come under what, sir? Polyoxides. Means actually what is the formula expected for barium oxide? BaO. But here we are getting what, sir? Here what is given, sir? BaO2, KO2. Actually what is the formula expected for sodium oxide? Na2O as for normal valency. But here we are getting what, sir? Na2O2. Means this containing what, sir? More number of oxygen atoms than the expected from normal valency. Clear? So what kind of definition we can give for polyoxides? Polyoxides are nothing but, this is, polyoxides are the oxides which contain more number of oxygen atoms than the expected from normal valency, than the expected from normal valency, or that is -2. So here the oxides which contain more number of oxygen atom than the expected from normal valency, that is -2, is called as what, Nana? That is polyoxides. These polyoxides are again classified into, that is two types. Polyoxides are again classified into two types. What are those two types? First type is peroxides. First type are what, sir? Peroxides, which contain O2 -2. Which contain O2 -2, that is, which contain oxides which contain O2 -2, that is what, sir? Peroxide. Right or not? This is what, sir? Peroxide ion. And next here, oxidation state of oxygen equals to what, Nana? -1 in this one. Example for these peroxides are Na2O2, K2O2, BaO2, like this. These are what, sir? Peroxides. Right or not? And next another one, superoxides. Superoxides contain what, sir? Which contain O2 minus. So nothing but what is the oxidation state of oxygen here? Oxidation state of oxygen in this one is -1/2. So that example for these superoxides are what, sir? KO2, RbO2, CSO2. Only 3 superoxides are there in the periodic table, that is sodium, potassium superoxide, rubidium superoxide and cesium superoxide. So like this, in this way polyoxides can be divided into peroxides and superoxides. Clear? So these contain more number of oxygen atom than the expected from its normal valency. Right or not? And next third kind of oxides are what, sir? Third kind of oxides are here suboxides. What, sir? Suboxides. So what are suboxides? Suboxides are nothing but which contain less number of oxygen atoms. So the oxide which contain less number of oxygen atoms than the expected from normal valency. Than the expected from normal valency. The oxide which contain less number of oxygen atoms than the expected from normal valency is called as suboxide. Example, if you take nitrogen oxide is there. Okay now. So in this, what is the valency of nitrogen? Generally 3. Minimum valency 3, right or not? So that what should be the formula of this one? It should, at least it should be N2O3. Right or not? But if the oxide formula is given N2O, means it is containing what? Lesser number of oxygen atoms than its normal valency, right or not? So that here this will be what, sir? Suboxide. N2O is what? Suboxide. Clear? And next another one, C3O2, carbon suboxide. Right or not? What is the hybridization of each carbon atom in C3O2? Do you have idea about it? sp hybridization. Why? Because C3O2 structure can be written like this: C double bond O, double bond C, double bond C, double bond O. So all the 3 carbons are surrounded by 2 double bonds. All these 3 are in sp hybridization. Right? So this is. So C3O2 is carbon suboxide. It is also suboxide. Are you following or not? So in this way, this oxide which contain lesser number of oxygen atom than the expected from its normal valency is called as suboxide. This is about another type of classification of oxides. So oxides can be classified in 2 ways. First one based on their nature. First one simple oxides and second one what, sir? Mixed oxides. Again simple oxides are classified into 4 types: acidic, basic, amphoteric, neutral. And next here mixed oxides. Then after here again oxides can be classified into 2 types: normal oxides, 3 types: normal oxides, polyoxides, suboxides. So normal oxides means as for the normal valency. They contain oxygen atoms as for the normal valency of oxygen. But if you take polyoxides, they contain more number of oxygen atoms than the normal valency of oxygen. Means they contain more number of oxygen atoms than the expected. So peroxides, superoxides belongs to this category. Right or not? And next another type of oxides are what, sir? They are suboxides. Suboxides contains lesser number of oxygen atoms. So this is N2O, nitrous oxide, and even NO, nitric oxide, C3O2, carbon suboxide. All these are what, sir? These are suboxides. Clear? So then this is about classification of oxides, and next we have to discuss about anomalous properties of oxygen. Next topic, anomalous properties of oxygen. Already we know that in each group the first element differing properties from the remaining elements of same group. Right or not? From first group onwards we are discussing. In alkali metals, lithium shows some anomalous properties. In alkaline earth metals, beryllium will show some anomalous properties. Right or not? In 13th group, boron shows some anomalous properties. Like this, in each group, the first element will show some anomalous properties. Here also, oxygen will show some anomalous properties due to number 1, it's a small size. Number 2, high ionization energy and electronegativity. Due to its high ionization energy and electronegativity. And the third one is due to absence of vacant d orbitals in the valency shell. Clear? So like this, due to these 3 reasons, it will show some anomalous properties. Due to its small size, high ionization enthalpy, as well as electronegativity, and due to the absence of vacant d orbitals in its valency shell. So here, what are the anomalous properties means? The anomalous properties, if you observe, what are the anomalous properties means? First one is oxygen is a gas at room temperature, whereas all other elements are solids at room temperature. Oxygen is a gas at room temperature, whereas all other elements are solids at room temperature. Clear? And next, second anomalous property is oxygen exists as a diatomic gas. Oxygen is diatomic. So O2 is diatomic, or oxygen exists as diatomic, whereas sulfur, selenium, these exist as octaatomic molecules. And next, one more is if you observe the third property, that is here the hydride of oxygen, that is water, is a liquid at room temperature. So hydride of oxygen, that is what, sir? Water, is a liquid at room temperature, whereas other hydrides are what, sir? Other hydrides are gases. What are the other hydrides, Nana? H2S, H2Se, H2Te. So these are what? Gases at room temperature. Clear? So hydride of oxygen is a liquid at room temperature, whereas hydrides of other elements of same group are what? Gases at room temperature. Next, here it shows -2 oxidation state as common oxidation state, and can show -1, +1, +2 also. So the oxidation states, common oxidation state of oxygen is -2. In addition to -2, it can show up to +2. That is -2, -1, +1, +2. +1, +2 is very rare. So mostly it shows what kind of oxidation state? -2. But here other elements will show, exhibit or show +2, +4, +6 oxidation states also. Other elements can show +2, +4, +6 oxidation states also, along with -2. So this is also another anomalous property. This is due to the absence of d orbitals in the valency shell of oxygen. And next, maximum covalency is restricted to, maximum covalency of oxygen is 4. For others, maximum covalency is 6, more than 4. And practically, that is maximum covalency is 3 only. So generally, that the maximum covalency of oxygen is what, sir? 4, and practically only 3 is obtained, mostly 3. But here other elements will show covalency more than 4, that is 6, and in some cases they may also exhibit 8 also. So like this, here this is about what, sir? Anomalous properties of oxygen. Clear? So next, so what are the anomalous properties? Once again I am repeating that oxygen is a gas at room temperature, and others are solids. Oxygen exists as diatomic, whereas others exist as polyatomic, like octaatomic. Hydride of oxygen is liquid, whereas other hydrides are gases. And next, oxygen shows -2 oxidation state mostly, whereas other elements can show -2, +2, +4, +6 oxidation state. Maximum covalency of oxygen is 4, whereas other elements of this group show maximum covalency more than 4, that is more than 6 or more than 6. Like this we can say, this is regarding what, sir? Anomalous properties of oxygen. And next we have to discuss about sulfur and sulfur compounds. Compounds of sulfur. And compounds of sulfur. So till now we discussed about oxygen. Now we are going to discuss about sulfur and its compounds. Right or not? So here sulfur is a 16th most abundant element in earth crust. 16th most abundant element in earth crust. Which one, Nana? Sulfur. It is 16th most abundant element in earth crust. Almost it is present 0.05% nearly in earth crust. 0.03 to 0.04% exactly. So 0.04% by mass. And next here, sulfur is present in nature, in earth crust. It is present in two forms, that is a native form and second one compounds form. So native form, native sulfur is present in what, sir? Native sulfur is in volcanoic regions. What, sir? Volcanoic regions. So in volcanoic areas, the native sulfur is present. Native sulfur is available in volcanoic regions. Volcanoic gases contain sulfur, or the volcanoic products may contain native sulfur. And in compound form, generally sulfur is present in compound form in earth crust in the form of sulfides, sulfates, sulfate minerals. So it is present in earth crust in the form of sulfides and sulfate minerals, like what, sir? That is here PBS. PBS is known as what, sir? Galena, ZNS, zinc blend, like this. And sulfate minerals like CaSO4 2H2O. What is the name, Nana? The name of CaSO4 2H2O is gypsum. It's what, sir? Gypsum. So like this. So in this way, it is available in earth crust in the form of either sulfides or sulfate minerals. Clear? And then next here it is also present in earth crust in the form of H2S. This H2S is present in natural gas as well as in oil, crude oil. So sulfur is present in natural gas and crude oil in the form of H2S. So this is the main source to get the sulfur. Here we can collect the sulfur, we can obtain the sulfur easily from natural gas and crude oil in the form of H2S. Clear? So this is about availability or abundance of sulfur. Next we have to discuss about allotropes of sulfur. So what is meant by allotropy? Allotropy is nothing but the existence of an element in two or more different physical forms with almost same chemical properties. The existence of an element in two or more different physical forms with almost same chemical properties is called as allotropy, and those forms are called as allotropes. Here the important allotropes of sulfur. Sulfur exists in many allotropic forms. Many allotropic forms are there for sulfur. Among these, the important allotropic forms are, that is number one, rhombic sulfur. What's that? Rhombic sulfur. This rhombic sulfur is also known as alpha sulfur. And next another one is monoclinic sulfur. This is known as beta sulfur. And one more is plastic sulfur. Plastic sulfur. That plastic sulfur is also known as what, sir? Delta sulfur. So like this we can say these are what, sir? Different allotropic forms. And another one is angel sulfur. Angel sulfur, that is here it is also known as epsilon sulfur. So these are different forms of epsilon sulfur. So like this we can say these are different forms of sulfur. Rhombic sulfur known as alpha sulfur, monoclinic sulfur known as beta sulfur, and plastic sulfur, that is delta sulfur, angel sulfur, epsilon sulfur, like this. These are the different allotropic forms of sulfur. Among these are the many allotropic forms are there. Among these first three are important forms of sulfur. What are the important forms of sulfur, sir? Alpha sulfur, beta sulfur and plastic sulfur. Now we are going to discuss about these sulfurs. That is first one, rhombic sulfur. Nothing but alpha sulfur or rhombic sulfur. So what is a rhombic sulfur? How it can be prepared? It is an important form of sulfur. It is an important form of sulfur at room temperature, and it is an important form of sulfur, and it is a stable form at room temperature. It is stable form at room temperature. How this rhombic sulfur can be prepared? So it can be prepared by the slow evaporation of solution of sulfur in carbon disulfide. So it can be prepared by the slow evaporation of solution of sulfur in, what kind of sulfurs are? Roll sulfur in carbon disulfide. What is the solvents are there? Carbon disulfide. So when a solution of roll sulfur in carbon disulfide is slowly evaporated, then we get what, sir? Rhombic sulfur. Means vapors of rhombic sulfur are obtained. The vapors of rhombic sulfur on slowly condensation will produce solid rhombic sulfur. Clear? So this is a rhombic sulfur. And here this rhombic sulfur, if we take, here rhombic sulfur, it is bright yellow in color. So rhombic sulfur is what, sir? It is a bright yellow color. It is in bright yellow color solid. Rhombic sulfur is a bright yellow color solid, and it is a crystalline solid. Crystalline solid. And next, its melting point is very high. What is that melting point? Means 385.8 kelvins. 385.8 kelvins is the melting point, and the specific gravity of this one is 2.07 gram per cc. What is the specific gravity of this? What, sir? Rhombic sulfur or alpha sulfur is 2.07 gram per cc. So this is about this alpha sulfur, and it is the most stable form of sulfur, or it is the standard form of sulfur. It is considered as standard sulfur. Which is considered as standard sulfur, sir? Alpha sulfur. Why? Because this is the most stable allotropic form of sulfur at room temperature. Clear? So it is stable form at room temperature, standard sulfur it is. And next here it is insoluble in water. It is insoluble in water and slightly soluble in benzene and ether, but highly soluble in carbon disulfide. So alpha sulfur is what, sir? It is insoluble in water, slightly soluble or less soluble in benzene and alcohol like that, and highly soluble in carbon disulfide. So these are the properties of alpha sulfur. And alpha sulfur exists as SE8 molecule. Alpha sulfur exists as SE8 molecule. Rhombic sulfur exists as SE8 molecule with puckered ring structure. With what structure, sir? Puckered ring structure. Let us see the structure of this alpha sulfur. So alpha sulfur or rhombic sulfur exists as what, sir? This rhombic sulfur exists in puckered ring structure. Puckered ring structure, or we'll call this as crown-like structure. So it exists as SE8 molecule. Rhombic sulfur exists as SE8 molecule, octatomic molecule, which is with what kind of structure, sir? Puckered ring structure or crown like structure like this. That is here already we discussed structure of S8 molecule, right or not? So S bond, single bond S, 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 single bond S. So like this we can say. This is what, sir? Crown like structure or puckered ring structure, right or not? So what is the bond angle here? Bond angle will be 107 degrees. What's the bond angle, Nana? 107 degrees. Bond length, SS bond length will be how much? Means that is here 212 picometers. 212 picometer means 2.12 angstroms. So like this we can say this is about structure of what, sir? This rhombic sulfur or alpha sulfur. It has S8 structure. So rhombic sulfur exists in S8 molecule. S8 molecule has what kind of structure, Nana? Puckered ring structure with or crown like structure like this. So what about the covalency of sulfur here? Each sulfur is surrounded by 2 sulfur atoms. So covalency 2 in this. Is it clear? And this alpha sulfur is what, sir? It is a poor conductor of electricity, heat and electricity. Poor conductor of heat and electricity. Clear? So this is about alpha sulfur. Remaining 2 allotropic form, that is monoclinic sulfur, plastic sulfur and structure of angel sulfur will be discussed in next class.